What is up, everybody? I have just finished watching Guardians of the Galaxy finally. Um, I told you the reason why I missed it the last time, and so finally got the opportunity to see it, and it was a good movie. It definitely was a good movie. But as far as like, just keep in mind, I mentioned before, I never read the original Guardians of the Galaxy books. I don't read the current Guardians of the Galaxy books, so I don't know that much about these current Guardians of the Galaxy, except for the fact that this was not Guardians of the Galaxy. It was an action comedy. It was a sci-fi action comedy. And as far as any continuity with the books, aside from Ron and the Accuser, and Thanos, I, you know, what's the point of leading into the other movies, uh, especially like at the end, stayed in the movie theater to the end to see the collector. Um, uh, the only thing left in his collection was that dog in the space helmet and Howard the Duck. Seriously, Howard the Duck. Does that mean that they're gonna make a Howard the Duck movie again? I don't know. They, like I'm in part. I don't necessarily care if they do or not. If they do, great. If not, no worries. Uh, not too many people are familiar with we're familiar with that. Granted, the performances of everybody, they could have gotten anybody to be Groot. They did not need to pay. I'm not saying he did a bad job, but they did not need to pay Vin Diesel however much money they had to pay him to say "I am Groot" a few times, and in all 12 of the languages that the movie was released in. Uh, this guy is Rocket. You would have never known that was Bradley Cooper, but he did. He did a great job doing that. Um, and, as far as even Dave Bautista, his acting skills have greatly improved since uh, Man with the Iron Fist as Brass Body. Uh, you know, just to see Drax the Destroyer brought to life, and the fact that he, has no concept of what metaphors are, and just certain things like certain things like that is just funny. Gamora, I didn't know enough about Gamora, within the Infinity Watch to know what her deal with Thanos or any of them were. Star Lord is another one that was just brought out of nowhere. And Chris Pratt, if he wasn't a star before, he's a star now. Thanks to the Lego Movie and especially this, which so like somebody pointed out, like posted how posted the similarities of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Lego Movie, and it was uncanny, especially considering the fact that the main protagonists in both movies were done by the same actor. So that was funny. That being said, like I said, it's a great movie. It's very very funny. Uh, Special effects, the acting, okay, fine. The Nova Corps was dumbed down like you would not believe. Oh my! There were there were basically and it might as well have just been the United States Navy. It would have been just as effective if they were the United States Navy, because Nova Corps doesn't necessarily have to fly ships due to the fact that they could fly like almost faster than the speed of light. They're super strong. For those of you who are comic fans and know the deal with Nova, whether it be Richard Rider, this new kid, or just the Nova Corps in general, you're fully aware of the fact that what they did with the Nova Corps was absolutely useless. They just threw it in for the namesake. Having what's his name? Uh, be part of the Nova Corps. There's what's his name? John C. Riley as part of the Nova Corps. Like, how you can't. Well, there was absolutely no reason for that. There wasn't. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It is a good movie. I'm not hating on the movie. It's just that this went in a completely different direction because people talk about, oh yeah, this is Marvel's best movie. No, it's not. It's not. I'm not saying this because Captain America is my favorite superhero. No, freaking you know, Captain America: Winter Soldier is still Marvel's best. You know, uh, granted, they held the standard as far as like action and storytelling and especially character development. These things are crucial to any movie, and they did a great job with that. Like I said, Dave Bautista's character, his acting has greatly improved since Man with the Iron Fist. Zoe Saldana she did a decent job, and it's nothing I haven't seen from her before. I'm not gonna, I don't necessarily think she's that good an actress, but she is improving, and as far as as far as her actual fighting skills or anything like that, um, as far as them being, they're believable for what's presented to you. It's not like what's her name, Mila Jovovich, who no, that girl can't fight. I don't know how many different movies they keep making with her, where she's got to do all these martial arts scenes, and this woman still does not know how to actually fight. Versus in Sucker Punch. Granted, I knew Sucker Punch was going to be bad. However, I went there. I paid to watch the movie first night it came out, IMAX especially, and I was watching and I was thinking to myself, wow, I might have actually been wrong about this movie. Then the movie ended, and and anybody who knows anybody who saw the movie knows what I'm talking about. You were literally sucker punched. Everybody, left the theater like, what did I just watch? Everybody literally got sucker punched. You didn't see it coming. But the action sequences, especially with with Vanessa Hudgens, freaking Disney Channel or Child Star Horror, the stuff that she was doing was like, okay, I'm convinced these girls might be able to kick my ass. I do not get that vibe from Zoe Saldana in in any of the movies that she's done. Uh, Gina Carano, I know for a fact can uh, you know uh, what's now Ronda Rousey is going to be stepping up as far as women's MMA in movies, and certain things like that. It's understandable, but even what's Scarlett Johansson, her her skills have improved because in Winter Soldier it was believable. Not that I think that she could beat me, but they were believable. Um, so like I said, Zoe Saldana, it was believable for that. Not that she could not that she could actually beat me in a fight. Not that I'm saying that I get off on fighting girls. I make it a point not to really. Even when I'm training, when I'm sparring, I hate rolling with the females. I hate having to kickbox with females because I'm too busy holding back and they're not returning the favor, and especially with when I'm rolling with them, I understand like they gotta they need to learn especially, but it does get awkward because of the different holds and positions that you gotta put yourself in, and it it does get awkward. Like you put normally you push against somebody's chest to try to get away from them, but you push against a woman's chest is like, oh, I just grab I just it's bad. It's all bad. And if you see my movie Rung, granted that's probably one of my worst acting jobs ever. That like I said, that was based on a true story. Because yes, that is based on a true story that actually happened to me. I underestimated a female. and I paid for it. I absolutely paid for it. And with the more and more I get into this, more female cinematic fight scenes. Uh, this is a movie that not too many people have seen. I don't think it was ever released in theaters. It was with Ving Rhames and Kelly Hu. It's called The Tournament, and that's it's believable it's definitely believable as far as the fact that um, it's not like, oh yeah, like basically like Angelina Jolie in any of her action movies. She does, these ridiculous fight sequences that are just absolutely fake, and she comes out damn near unscathed. Kelly Hu is the main protagonist in this movie. Basically, it's a tournament between assassins. What happens is they pay a fee to be able to get in. You got 100 assassins, and they have no just somewhere they meet randomly in the world. And now basically the game is you have 24 hours to knock off the other 99 assassins. It, which is rough because you got to you know I don't even want to know what the odds of that are happening. And you got guys who, better hand-to-hand fighters, better shooters, more tactical, more crafty, a lot crazier, stuff like that. And what winds up happening is the previous tournament winner, the show in the beginning, was Ving Rhames' character, and then this is supposed to take place like every 7 years. Lo and behold, here's Kelly Hu. Kelly Hu takes a beating. She the stuff that she does, like to win. It's believable. But man, does she takes a massive amount of punishment because regardless of whether anybody wants to agree with me or not, women are weaker than men. women are a great deal weaker than men. I'm not saying that a women can't do what men do. I'm saying that you are. There's like a prime example. In the military, they just released a couple years ago. They said, okay, women can finally go into combat, so you finally have female infantry. Big mistake, absolutely big mistake. Because even like to say that there will never be a female Navy SEAL. I'm you know a woman probably could do it, but how many women can actually do it? Out of the hundreds of men that have gone through BUDS, uh, how many women could honest to God, do the exact same training? Even in the Marine Corps, the training's modified because completely different muscle structure. Uh, Certain things, and it's a little bit easier for the girls to get through. Granted, it's a lot harder than any other female basic training and stuff like that. And granted, okay, you still have to, you know, shoot perfectly. You still have to qualify swimming, which to this day I don't know how the hell I did that because I still can't swim. And I you know, you understand things like that, physics like that. My father's like, oh yeah, as long as the girls with guns, it's a good movie. He's like, no, half the time those suck. I mean, prime example, Andy Sindaris. If girls and guns, is the way to go, then Andy Sindaris should be the best filmmaker of all time. Instead, his stuff is, his movies are sold in the softcore porn section because they're garbage. And going off on a rant. This isn't even going to be a review. This is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy rant. Uh, it's like, I like the movie. I did. To say that it's the best Marvel movie ever, absolutely not. Um, maintained maintained the standard that Captain America Winter Soldier set, as far as like I said, as far as action, as far as storytelling. It did a phenomenal job. Hilarious because obviously the colorful characters, literal literally meaning colorful characters, and just the people that they chose. I honest to God don't think it would have been the same if it would not have been this as far as everybody but a group. They could have done that with anybody, but as far as anybody else, uh, I don't think it would have been the same feel. I don't think it would have been the same reaction that people had if it wasn't these people. If they'd have had to go, they would have had to have taken it in a completely different direction. And for Dave Bautista to do something as humorous as this, and the fact that he was able to keep a straight face with some of the stuff that he had to say. Oh man, that's just too much. Oh man, I can only imagine how many takes they had to do, for some of his lines, especially in the prison, and when he first, he's like, oh yeah, it's like metaphors are just gonna go completely over his head. Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I will catch them. Stuff like that, and even it was just so much great stuff that he was able to pull off. The timing for Groot, that was great. Vin Diesel did a good job, but like I said, they could have done that with anybody. Uh, anyway, I've been going on for the past 17 minutes about this. If you haven't seen, the movie's been out for almost a month now. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's definitely worth whatever you pay for. It's not like the last couple movies that I've seen where it's like the movie sucks, but you'll still enjoy it. Not like Transformers and Ninja Turtles or anything like that. I try to keep this basically just geek, but at the same time, for those of you who've watched my videos, I talk about mixed martial arts, and I'm just gonna start blending other things into it, mostly because of my faith, which unfortunately, I still get I want to say persecuted for, but at the same time I don't, because I want to save the call for persecution for intelligent people that can actually argue with me. But what's gonna wind up happening? What's gonna wind up happening is because there is mostly because of in the past, I have Christians, my fellow brethren, are basically rebuking and dogging and chastising and trying to boycott certain things that it's like you had no business doing. You should just let it be. And for things like that to happen, something has to be addressed about that. Not and basically you can for everybody to could actually learn from this, and learn from that experience. That being said, I'm pretty much done. You all have a good night.